this episode of ThinkTank Thursday. I am Candy Kelly, and I'm excited to be your host this week. Thank you guys for taking the time to join us. Of course, before I jump in, I've got to give some love to my 2022 Think Tank partners. We've got Redemption Plus, SimKnots, Betson, and Party Center Software, and Embed. And today's guest has joined us many times before. He is one of our favorites from Embed. And so we're going to take Thursday doing some thinking with him about what we're going to be looking for at IAAPA. So, John Keys, for those who may not know you in the industry, I don't know how many there are out there still, but why don't you introduce yourself and kind of what your role is at Embed?
Hey, Candy, good to see you again. My name is John Keys. I'm the National Sales and Account Manager for Embed here in North America, and excited to be a partner with TrainerTainment, because I think you guys have an event coming up next week, right before IAAPA.
Yes. On November 10th, we'll have our time management workshop as people start to prepare for the new year. Everyone talks about the priorities. How do you get through what is the most important and not? So now is a good time to reset and maybe practice some new tips and tricks for that so that you're ready to hit the ground running in the new year. Perfect.
Well, we are excited about IAAPA. I always say that this is our Super Bowl for the industry. It's a chance to meet with so many people, and a lot of new products, new ideas are coming out. At Embed, we're releasing a number of exciting products. We've got an e-store coming up. We've got some tools for the staff with some additional wearables and such, and we're really excited about releasing our stats product.
I know that is what I have a couple of questions for you about that. I just today read the press release about this product that you're referring to, stats. So in easy to understand terms, what is stats?
It's stats is a really powerful tool that we're going to be releasing to our customers. We're leveraging our partnership with Amazon Web Services, or AWS. And so one of the things that Amazon does great is manage massive amounts of data and putting it into a format that is easy for people to be able to see and action. And so we're working with a number of dashboards and widgets that are taking all the information that is already in reporting, but putting it into a format that can be easily seen. And that can be seen from your computer or from your phone. So you're going to see a lot of details about, like, an executive summary. What are key items that people need to be monitoring? Sales information, games information. What's the top selling game? What's the bottom selling games? What's the dwell time that people are spending in the arcade? And even bringing in tools like labor, where you can put in labor totals. And now we're giving information to customers that they can action. And so we've gone beyond kind of the like reporting, which is just reporting information. We're now giving more information that people can actually see and take action on.
So are you telling me it's kind of in real time? I can look at this dashboard in real time almost?
Near real time. Usually with tools like this, where you're updated like every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes. It's capturing that information, but it's also comparing that information with historicals. And so you can say, how do I compare today versus last year or last week? How can I see trends that are coming in? It's real-time information, but it's allowing you to compare. Because I think that a lot of times when you're looking at reports, I always use the example, it's like when you're flying in a plane, you're off course more than you're on course. And that one of the jobs of the pilots is to kind of realign and get everything back on course. That, in essence, is what we're trying to do with stats, to move people where you can have the information and that you spend less time gathering it and putting it into a format that you can action, so that you can look at it and make decisions on the fly.
I love the aspect of more closely to real time, it is something I feel like this industry has been a little bit behind on. My background comes from hospitality, and I remember being a
Yes.
GM and like running a card and being like, my current labor is this is my current sales. Oh, I need to make adjustments right now to make sure that I'm in line. And you could do that at any point from any like computer screen. And that immediate knowledge of like where you're running at labor for the day or per hour or any of that stuff has been lacking in this industry.
Right. I think it's a lot. It is coming in, and you and I came from the same background from a hospitality standpoint. It's being able to have that information to make decisions. Labor is a huge issue for people right now. And so how do we make sure that we can look at how our sales today, do we need to make adjustments? Do we do maybe change promotions? Do we look at letting some people go home early? That's that type of information. How do we action this and really focus on how do you best manage your game room and your FEC?
Got it. So you already listed some of those types of data it will collect. Tell me a little bit about how like it analyzes it in a readable format. Like what would I be looking at, charts, or instead of just a whole lot of numbers, like what would I be looking at?
Well, you're going to look at a whole series of different charts and tools that are available. Historically, we're used to looking at reports, and you're looking at a large amount of information, and maybe you only need 2 or 3 aspects of that information. And so now you're sorting through a whole bunch of information to get what you need. The presentation with stats is going to be in a series of charts and graphs and tools that you can see, where you can see key numbers and you can look at those trends.
The press releases that I read earlier said something about like widgets. And so I guess the dashboard that I'm looking at would be a little bit customizable as to what is the most important data for me in my organization. I choose which widgets show up.
There's a couple different options. We've decided to put this together in a kind of in a modular format that you can start small and that you can grow. And so based on the number of users and what information you want to see, will determine, let's say, what the monthly licensing would be. So the key one is what we call the executive summary. And that's going to give you kind of a summary of all the information of what's going on in your location. And you're going to see sales information. You're going to see games information. You're going to see the top card products that are being sold. You can look, we talked about dwell time and labor is all components. Then we can go down into other modules that feed into that executive summary, talking about details on games, details on inventory, even talking about establishing reorder levels that you can then be monitoring as far as when to order, talking about specific games detail, operational detail. We talked a little bit about dwell time. And that's that idea is that, again, if you extend that dwell time, people tend to spend more. So if you have a location that, let's say, has food and beverage, you know that people are going to sit down and eat, they're going to play games, they're going to do some other activities, etc. Now, the way we're managing this is we're tracking only what's happening on with the games. And so when does somebody swipe their card the first time? When do they swipe it the last time? That may not account. It may not account for everything if they sat down and ate dinner, but you're going to start seeing trends. And you can then start looking at saying, okay, if I change some things around, whether it's packaging or locations with games, am I increasing that dwell time? How am I making it easier for our guests to spend money and have that great experience that everyone's looking for?
Got it. All right. So now I got all this data. It tells me a little bit more about our guests. And you know that I always ask about the guest experience. And so how can I use this data to enhance the guest experience? Like what makes it more customizable to the guest? How should I read it? All of that kind of stuff.
Well, and actually you asked a question about customization.
Oh, yeah.
We have that. A lot of the components are already prepared, which is one difference from like our standard reporting, or we have our central reports, which allows you to customize all reporting. We had a lot of customers that were saying, okay, we like what you're doing there, but we don't have the resources, we don't have programmers that can customize all of our reports. So one of the beauties with AWS is they already have provided tools and widgets that can gather and present that information. So you don't have to have a computer degree. You can just look at the information. But we're also offering tools for those advanced users if they want to do customization, where you can
Okay.
look and say, how do I want to format it? How do I want to see it? So it's kind of getting the best of both worlds, where people can start and then you can grow and kind of leverage the tools as you need them.
Oh, that's awesome. So that there's not a barrier to entry. You've kind of taken care of that.
That's the critical piece, not only from the way that we structure, like most importantly is the executive summary and the games. And that's kind of the first level. Then if you want to start getting into sales information and inventory information and a lot more details, then you can kind of jump to the next tier. So if you can start small and you can kind of grow as your needs grow.
Okay. So my assumption right now reading is that I should make assumptions. Does this only pull data from the card swipes, or does it also pull some data from, like, you guys have close partnerships with some of the redemption providers as well? I know if they're using it, they can put their redemption inventory into your systems. And so it pulls all that. Is it pulling all of that data? And is it just the data between redemption and arcade?
It's right now, it's all the information is basically within the core embed system.
Okay.
And the other thing is that some of this information can also be exported. So you have options, like if you're thinking about different redemption groups like Redemption Plus, what they do is they take the DPL and they look at, well, let's say, beginning inventory, what's been added, what's been used, and they've set up reorder levels. And so they're helping customers manage their inventory. What we're doing is now providing some additional tools that customers can use, because we can establish reorder levels internally within the embed system. And so this allows people to start saying, okay, I can leverage not only what I'm doing with Redemption Plus, but I can also be kind of monitoring that on a daily basis or weekly basis. So you'll start to see some of the information that's imported in, we'll be able to action on. We don't have that as far as pulling information from third parties yet.
All right, so back to my other question. How do you see this being used to enhance the guest experience? Like, I know all that technical stuff is great for operators and stuff, but we should, everything we do, we should be like, how does this make the experience better for our guests? So how does Embed see that happening and the effects that it will have on guests?
Well, if you think about it, you talked about with your hospitality background, and when you're managing restaurants, you were looking at information and saying, okay, what's the average spend? What's the labor cost? What's going on right now? So that as I remember as a manager, that I'd be looking at information as I'm walking into like the weekly meeting or the daily meetup, is we're looking at this information and saying, okay, what do we need to do as far as making adjustments? And this is the idea of creating a better guest experience, is all based on what are we offering the guests, and how do we package that together? And then importantly, how do we maximize revenue? Because that's really what we're looking for. So it's that balance that that you can offer a greater experience, let's say through packaging, through different card products, through different ideas that are going to positively impact the bottom line. And this even comes back to something that we've talked about previously about best practices. There's a lot of tools that are available within card systems and point of sale systems that people are not using. And so now we can look at what are some ways that if we implement, let's say, this change, how does that impact our bottom line? And having that immediate feedback is really helpful in looking at it. Simple thing, if you think about it, a lot of people have kiosks and they're looking at pricing of the cards. How are you maximizing that revenue? If the number of people buying, let's say, a $5 card is small, why don't you, if you have limited real estate space, why don't you eliminate that $5 card? Encourage them to go to that $10 card or that $15 card, bumping people up from $20 to maybe $30. All of that, the guests feel like they're getting a better experience. They're getting greater value, but then you're also putting more money towards the bottom line, which gives you more tools that you can again, bring in new games, you can bring in new ideas, concepts, attractions, etc.
There's also this theory. I have my degree is actually in psychology, even though that's not where I ended up going. So I love like the psychology of buying, like our retail, the way that things are set up. And so I find myself gravitating towards some of those things. And there's lots of studies that show that you have your certain percentage of people who are always going to just buy the most expensive thing because they need to. That's their personality. And you have a small percentage of people who are always just going to buy based off price that is really, really inexpensive. Majority of people like to be in the middle tier. And so if you're looking at that real estate and you have a $5, a $10, and like a $25, well, you're pushing people to the middle tier a lot. Where if you could make that middle tier the $25, now it's 10, 25, 50, you could probably just increase by $15 without doing anything except making it the middle, because the largest percentage of people shop in the middle. They don't want the most, and you can do this with anything. Rakes. You don't want the cheapest rake. It's probably going to break as you're raking your yard, right? But I don't need the most expensive rake. It's just a rake, for crying out loud.
Right.
I need one of these middle tier rakes here.
Right. And that's that whole idea of being able to look at that information and making changes. And you can make subtle changes. A lot of times there's resistance, like, oh, I don't want to change it because our customers are used to that. But
I find most of the time customers don't even notice, really. They don't even mention.
Well, and if you think about, again, leveraging your hospitality background, if you go out on a Friday and Saturday night, you expect that you're going to pay more.
Mm-hmm.
If you go out to a restaurant, you know that they're going to be asking, do you want an appetizer? Do you want dessert? Do you want coffee? It's all about upselling.
We had a daily script. I hate the word script because I don't need you to say it in the same way, but it was like, here's the daily special, here's the daily dessert. Like, you're required to go to every table and like say these things, like as you're in your greeting, and to let people know. And they were always the pricier things for our weekend crew.
Right.
That was kind of
That's it. It's looking at that information and making small changes. The idea of charging for cards, but increasing that average spend. Rather than people buying a $20 card, they're going to spend $22 as a new card fee. But you provide the guest with the $22, $2 in bonus. So the guest doesn't see any benefit, but the customer, if you think about it, for every new card sale, this is just like selling coffee in the restaurant. For every new card sale, you're going to put $2 more to the bottom line. That's that type of information. And then being able to research that and look at the reporting to see how that is impacting your operations.
I know you touched on this for momentarily earlier, but you guys have had a module called reports for some time now. So how does this differ from reports? If I have this, do I still need the reports module? Like, how do they work together?
Sure. Well, you're always going to have reports at the store level. Those are reports that you use for balancing. You're going to run daily. You're going to run reports every hour or every day. That's just like transactional reports. It's how you operate. And we have about 150 reports that are available, and they will continue to be available because that's what people utilize. Those reports can be emailed to people. You can get them in a PDF format or in a spreadsheet. That will continue. Then on the other side, we will continue to have the central reports for people who want to do complete customization of their reporting, which is a lot of times used at corporate or looking at trends. This now is a tool that can be used in the middle. So now I have my daily reports, that's everything that I'm seeing, but now I have stats that I can be using on my phone as I'm taking the subway to go to work. I can be looking at information. I can see what I need to be actioning on. And that gives you that information that you need. And for an individual, let's say a store manager, they're only going to have access to their store. Regional managers can have access to, let's say, 5 stores, and then people at corporate can look at all of them. So it really is going to customize the view so you can look at what's most important to you. And by having the dashboards, I can look quickly rather than having to sort through hundreds of lines of a report. I can look and say, okay, I want to look at these 3 pieces of information. And the way that the dashboards are set up is you have that critical information at the top that you can see, and then you can look at the charts below, and you can even format that. So let's say, do I want to look at that for 6 weeks, or do I want to look at it for 2 weeks? And it's basically, again, leveraging the AWS tools, is that I can kind of drag it back and forth. That allows you what information you want to see.
Awesome. All of that. I also just got an idea for our next think tank, John. You just said that there's 150 like reports within that. It would be so interesting to look at the 5 underused reports that could really tell you something about your business or something like that.
Great idea.
That'd be a great think tank for the future.
I like it.
All right. So my last question before we get to the signature question is, in the press release, it talked about Embed is entering into tech of transformation, or tech for transformation. Can you let us know, what does that mean? And what does that what does that mean for the vision of Embed and the future growth, and what you guys will be focusing on?
Well, what we're looking for is the idea of how do we leverage technology in this industry to help move it forward. And so, and you brought this up before, if you think about in hospitality or retail, or probably grocery stores is probably the ones that analyze, and I mean, everybody analyzes information, but they do it to an extreme. I always think about like the Walmart example, that they know positioning and what happens.
And they have to order daily, like they get daily delivery. So that par level, where they are, how things are moving in this area of the store, like it changes daily because of how big that they are. So yeah.
Well, you're even looking at positioning. Why do they put stuff in the back? Because they want people to walk through and grab everything else as they go through. So what we're looking at the tech of transformation, or the future of technology in the industry, is we want to start leveraging these tools and utilizing tools like stats as a way for you to make better business decisions. And then also leveraging tools, let's say like our mobile wallet, to make it real easy for people to reload their cards. It's that idea of how do we make it, again, you brought up guest experience.
Yes.
Guest experience is critical. And as long as people are feeling like they're having greater value and it's easy, we want to make it easy for them to spend money to have that awesome experience. That's all going to help impact as far as putting more money towards the bottom line.
I'm glad you brought up easy, because that is something that I think about a lot, because I have gone from hospitality and to operations into this industry, and now as a supplier and vendor, I think of my own personal habits and how easy things have gotten. I haven't called to order a pizza in I don't know how long. I have an app for, I just reorder what I've had the last time, and then it shows up in 30 minutes. And
right.
I can do that at the soccer field while watching my daughter play, because I'm oh, timing's about right. I need to order. And just how easy we have made. And so we need to make it easier for people to enjoy their experience with us, and the more time they can be in the experience, because that's what we offer, right? We offer something that you can't get at home by just watching TV. It's an immersive experience. It's a social experience. It's with other people. So the more we can keep them in that experience and not pull them away to go to a kiosk, to go up front to ask a question, to have to go away from the bowling lanes to order their food, all of those things, we can keep them in the experience, the better the more enhanced that experience is for the guests.
Right. Well, not even extend. How do we extend that when they're not in the location? And so now mobile wallet being able to allow you to reload the cards, or you and I talked about events and how you live and die by your calendar. So that now when we start thinking about, if you have a series of events, whether it's kids activities or let's say a pinball league, that you can keep people in the know of future activities that are coming in, because it's going to go onto their calendar, and we all live and die by our calendar. This is all of how do we leverage technology to create that better experience for our guests, and also, again, make sure that we're putting more money towards the bottom line.
Yeah. It's funny. I have seen such a resurgence post the pandemic of things that I did when I was a bartender, like trivia leagues and those types of things at establishments. I'm seeing such a resurgence of those things, and I love it, because it's just because we want to get back together in teams and have a reason to be with our friends and all of these things. And so using Embed and that how you can invite people to events. Like you decide to do a trivia league, like invite people in, remind them for it to it.
Yes.
And all that.
We are very social beings. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we discovered during the pandemic that there was a lacking. And so now you're seeing, and I think it's continuing, that there's been an uptick pretty much across the board in out-of-home entertainment. That continues to grow, and people are becoming innovative because we realize that we do like to hang out with other people and have fun.
Yeah, sitting on the couch watching Netflix, binging Netflix can only take you so far.
Right.
All right, so IAAPA is right around the corner. Tell us what's happening at your booth. I know y'all typically do a happy hour. Obviously, there's probably going to be demos of stats and other things. Like, what questions should people be coming to ask you? Where can they find you? All of those things. Give us the lowdown.
Well, we're going to be in booth 1331. So
Okay.
1331. We're excited. We're going to be showing stats. We're going to be showing events. We're going to show mobile wallet. Bookings has been around for quite a while, but we have a number of people who are using that for reservations. We've got some new tools for staff, as far as with a staff fob as opposed to a staff card that sometimes can get bent or broken.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have our bling bar with all of our wearables, which have grown. We've had a large number of people that are now getting custom wristbands and custom wearables that they're selling to their guests. They put them in birthday parties, but it's also in redemption. People are redeeming them.
I have to give you some credit for that. We have seen each other at our events and at other events. And so I get one each time of whatever the new style is. I have the St. Patrick's Day one you guys put up. My 10-year-old daughter steals them as soon as I get back. I don't own any of them anymore. She took them all away. So she loves them and she'll wear them on her ankles and different things. So the longevity of those. And so if you brand them and put a holiday design on it or a special event that you're having design, 10-year-olds is a target market for out-of-home entertainment, for especially arcade stuff. They're wearing them to school.
Exactly. And think about it. If they're wearing it to school and they talk about this great activity that they had at your location, it's a walking billboard.
Yes.
Promotion. And so all of this comes in. So yeah, there's going to be so much that we're going to be showing. We're also showing the Kiosk Plus, which has had a great exposure with people utilizing that and leveraging kind of, again, a new look, bringing that in. So a lot of that is going to be done. The other thing that we're going to be doing, which I'm excited about, is what we call Embed 101. We do that once a quarter virtually, but we're going to actually offer for our customers. A group can sign up and they get to come in early. We give them a special pass, and we are going to be doing some specific training before the show opens.
Oh, very cool.
One day we're going to talk about events. One day we're going to talk about bookings, but then on Friday, we're going to talk about best practices. All of these little things that you can do to enhance the experience. And most of them don't cost you any money because they're already part of the core system. So we've got a great team coming out.
I know. I heard rumor that this is the largest team of Embed people that are coming in quite some time.
Yes, it's exciting. We'll have most of our executives are coming in. This is the first time, in 2 years, that they've been able to travel outside of Perth and Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
We're also bringing in some other groups, like with our some of our finance team, some of our marketing team, some of our HR, because this is a great way for our other team members to get a better understanding of the industry and what's involved and the people and interact. And I think that just builds a better understanding of the industry, that, again, how we're trying to move everything forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I can't let you leave without the signature question. So what are you doing these days to grow yourself, John?
Well, I'm going to come back to, I think the thing that I've always talk about is how do you continued learning, making sure that you're reading books, that you're listening to podcasts, and just.
So what's your latest book?
Latest book that I'm doing is I'm learning on as far as leadership or coaching, because I've got a team of 5 people, and it's really understanding the tools that allow you to help coach and help drive, as opposed to like managing. And so it's a
Mhm.
little bit, the interesting one that they were talking about was like, in a lot of cases, I always want to tell people, how do you do this?
Yes.
How do you build that boat? And what coaching is that you're asking that question of like, well, what do you think should be next?
What do you think would
How
happen if these two components came together, or if we use this
exactly.
material and all of that? And you just keep asking questions until they get to the answer that you really already knew ahead of time, but they have ownership and maybe a twist to it, maybe their own spin to it.
That get that perspective. And that's it's hard for me because it's like, you know, when you're in class and you know the answer and you want to go, oh, I know the answer, I want to do
Also,
that.
you just told me your background's hospitality, and hospitality is more along that silo of management. Tell people what to do, how to do it. It's got to be done
Yeah.
quick. So we don't have time to like work it through. A lot of times, like you have a layer of people that know what to do. And so it is a switch, because hospitality is more management driven than coaching
Right.
driven.
Yeah, and I encourage people, as far as leverage what you can. We use a tool within Embed called Percipio, and it has hundreds of books and courses and even certifications. That's one thing that I'm very impressed with what Embed is doing, is that continued learning, continued tools of how you can really continue to grow as an individual. And then I think as everybody is growing as individuals, then that makes the team grow.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, John, for your time today. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. If people have some more detailed questions between now and IAAPA, which was right around the corner, how do they get in touch with you? Where would you send them?
Well, first, you can always go to our website, embedcard.com. Have a whole series of information that's available. But if you want to get in touch with me directly, you can email me at john.keys, Keys, @embedcard.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you to Embed and the rest of our 2022 Think Tank sponsors. TrainerTainment will also be at IAAPA. We are going to be in booth 40-58, so please come see us. And just as a reminder, Embed is booth 1331. So make sure that those two booths are on your checklist of who you're going to check out and see. And we're so happy to see everyone. Also, as John mentioned earlier, we have an event coming up November 10th at where we're doing a time management workshop. And so just quick 2 hours to get you set for managing your time going into the new year. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Take care.
Hi, Beth Stanley here. Listen, I want to personally invite you to join our group sales coaching program. You can jump in anytime, and when you do, I'll autograph a copy of my book, People Buy From People, How to Connect Personally in an Impersonal World. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a quick read and fun, and I'd love to share it with you. Sign up today.
Hello, my name is Brittany Betty, and I am the Regional Sales Director and Business Development Manager over at Betson Enterprises. Here at Betson, we are so excited to be a part of TrainerTainment this year. For those of you who are unaware of Betson and what we do, we are the leading distributor of coin-operated equipment, and we are a family-owned business that has been around for 85 plus years. Please take a moment to watch a quick video on an introduction on the phased approach and turnkey solution we can offer you in your facility. Thank you so much for taking the time for watching. And if you have any questions and would like to reach out to me, I can be reached at my email at bbetty, BBETTI, at Betson, BETSON.com. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions or needs you might have in the family entertainment industry, and I would be happy to assist you. Thank you and have a great day.
Are you looking for ways to maximize profits and consolidate systems and processes? Join the Party Center Software and Party Center Pay family. Our suite of solutions makes it easy for you to run your family entertainment center or event business. Our online party booking system makes booking parties and events a breeze. Our point of sale system, digital waivers, and reports will help you simplify steps for your staff and make your guest experience seamless. Our online store allows you to sell products, gift certificates, and other services anytime, even when you're sleeping. But it doesn't end there. All of the solutions mentioned connect with our payment processing platform, Party Center Pay, making it easier than ever to manage your business. Not only can Party Center Pay save you money by cutting out extraneous fees, but Party Center Pay makes it easy to take online deposits or full payments, and we even have a contactless payment option. Paired with our incredible support team and dedicated customer success managers, growing and managing your business has never been easier. Schedule a call with us today to learn more.
My wife and I, this is a partnership with her and I, so we both agreed that, in creating Scary Strokes, that we want to make sure that we have the best available of everything. Embed just seemed like the perfect fit. It was pretty streamlined and had the point of sales and the software for the redemption, and it just seemed natural to us. So we've been with Embed since the very beginning. And so when Embed was introducing the mobile wallet, it seemed like a good opportunity for us to jump on, and it's wonderful. I mean, you reload your card from it, you redeem your tickets from it. There's nothing not to like about it. I mean, it's very convenient. It's very clever for sure.
Empowering your employees to manage your redemption area with confidence can be a challenge. The redemption counter is often the last stop your customers make before leaving your facility. That's why we do everything we can to help your staff make that experience one worth returning for. Our service packages allow you to reap the benefits of expertise and customer support, no matter where your business is in its maturity. The Advanced and Pro Service Bundles are unmatched by any other redemption provider in the industry. They allow you to get the support you need when you need it. Gain confidence in your redemption program, knowing your employees are taking advantage of benefits like exclusive redemption training, regular planogram refreshes, product performance and spending reports, and much more. All accessible from an online portal customized to your business. Learn more at services.redemptionplus.com.